Hey, hey, hey. Good evening, Miss Sparklers. It is the Friday remix. So I learned that yesterday my live did not go through. I saw it was saying internet unstable, we're reconnecting, but I had no idea that I was not streaming live because it continued to say I was live and it was streaming, but it only showed like the first 3 minutes of the live. So I am back today on this fantastic Friday. So we are doing us a remix. Had a busy day, but I could not let this week end. I could not let today, the last day of February, end without hopping on to do a recap of what I talked about yesterday. So come on in, my sparklers. Come on in. Let me go ahead and type in the chat. Welcome, sparklers. You can just come on in because the chat is live and I would love to engage in conversation. So welcome, sparklers. Just come on in. Come on in. Yes. As I give it just a moment, just a few minutes of, let's see, a few minutes of, let's see, we don't need to hear the commercial. Want to play a little music, just about 30 seconds, as I wait for the sparklers to come on in. Just a few minutes. Only going to be just a few minutes, just about a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to jump in to my live. All right, all right. Now, sparklers, I had a good one yesterday, so I'm going to do my best to recap the engaging conversation. I want to first of all start off by saying now, on my Fantastic Friday, I want to do a vision board check-in. How are your vision boards going? Since today is the last day of February, this is your checkpoint. Just look at your vision board and see how close you are to meeting a goal, or if you met a goal, just put a little check and just write the word met. Or if you have sticky notes, you might want to put a sticky note on your poster board. But just check in with yourself since it's the end of the month. Check in with yourself to see how you are doing. Now, also, your journal. How are we doing on our journal? Because see, this journaling is very important as well, because what you're doing is you're capturing your day to day by affirming it in your journal. And so today's entry for me, because it's Friday, starts off with it's a fantastic Friday. And I always like to lead in on my journals. I am somebody. I am a winner. I'm an amazing person with extraordinary dreams. Great things are coming my way. I love kicking off my day believing in me and being a cheerleader for me. So don't forget your journaling. It's such a refreshing celebration when you actually, as you've been journaling and you've been affirming things, that it actually comes to fruition. So I think it's good. I love it. It empties my thoughts. I feel better after I write out things. I'm like, oh, I feel a lot better now that I've gotten it on paper. So that's one of the things I enjoy about journaling. Now, Black History Month. It's the last day, but every day is Black History Month. But today, since it's the last month of February, I have to talk about none other than Betty J. Johnson, the icon, the living legend of the Betty J. Johnson North Public Library. Get into it. Betty J. Johnson is a pioneer. She's a living legend. She is still alive and she is still knocking down doors and doing magnificent things. I went to the library today. I was reporting live, and I found that they have bookmarks honoring Betty J. Johnson. And if you haven't figured out by now, she is my mom, and I'm super proud of my mom, Betty J. Johnson. So I got to talk to you about the history behind Betty J. Johnson and all the contributions that she has made and set forth so that we can enjoy the world as we see it today in literacy. So one of the things that I want to talk about is my mom, years and years ago, back in the 70s, had a vision. She really thought long and hard about what she had observed around within the community. A lot of children, as we were growing up, were not exposed to a lot of books. The only books they would read were the books at school. But if I asked any of my friends, they didn't have books at home. They didn't even go to the library because it was so far away. So my mother wrote a grant, and the grant was approved, where she actually took a customized van and converted it into a mobile library. It was known as the Bookmobile. How awesome is that? This Bookmobile traveled to different communities of underserved children, and she actually would open the sliding doors. I remember like it was yesterday, guys. And the kids could get on, listen to books on tape, check out books, whatever their choice was. And it was known as the outreach program. It was so phenomenal that when the children would see the van coming, they would jump for joy. She would pull up at a recreation center. They would come running because they wanted to be a part of the Bookmobile. My mom also was a storyteller, so she would tell her stories as well. I know one that she always liked to would tell us about was Clifford the Red Dog. That's the one that stands out to me right now. That red dog, I heard so much about Clifford the Red Dog, but she enjoyed sharing stories with children. So from the birth of the Bookmobile came what is known as a storefront library. So she started a storefront library where you could just walk up to a storefront and there was a library where you could go in, check out books, you could socialize, listen to stories, research, whatever you chose to do within the realms of attending a library. So that was known as a storefront. Then sparked the interest of building a full access library. The library came to fruition 20 years ago, everybody. This is something just historical. 20 years ago, the ground was broken, the foundation was set, and now sits the Betty J. Johnson North Public Library. It is such an amazing honor to see, where it came from. Like it was a bookmobile, then from a bookmobile to a storefront, from a storefront now to a full access library. My mom wears many hats. Oh, before I talk about the many hats, if you go to the library and you visit, you can grab one of her bookmarks. They are free. You just go to the circulation desk and you can get one. On the back, it actually shares a little bit about it. They have the picture right here of a character of when she was talking to children in front of the bookmobile. How awesome is that? She is also an author. She wrote her first book that is titled The Village as I Knew It Is No More. So she shares about growing up in the Sarasota community and how things were so different when she was a child to what they are today. A good read. You can pick this up off Amazon. A little bookmark shows my mom right there back in the day. But yes, a great read about the community. So those of you who might travel to that area, you can learn about this particular area that my mother speaks of, Betty Johnson speaks of in her book. So just a little nugget of Black history, as this is the last day of Black History Month. All right. Now, I wanted to share also a shout out to Black authors today. So I want to start off with share Betty Johnson's book. This is Karita and Leon Montgomery's book. It says, Just Dance With Me. There is a rhythm and flow to longevity and marriage. Once again, Black authors. So, if you're going to purchase anything today, support the Black authors. All right, now. Also, this book is written by Sabrina Freeman. The journey continues from helpless to wellness. Johnny and the Light, written by Darion McGee. He's also a movie producer as well, and he has several books. All the books I'm showcasing today are available, I believe, on Amazon. The only one that I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure I think it is this book right here, written by none other than Tony Dungy and his wife, Lauren Dungy. Austin Plays Fair. When I tell you this is a great read for kids and learning about the lessons about playing fair, sometimes you may not always win, but it's the integrity of playing fairly that will get you over every time. So this is Tony Dungy and Lauren Dungy's book. Now, moving into trending topics. Who better than you? The Art of Healthy Arrogance and Dreaming Big by Will Packer. Let me tell you, Sparkler, something about this book and the event that I attended. He calls it the Book Party Tour. When I tell you it was an amazing time listening to Will Packer and the panel of guests and talking about their journeys and, from where they came from and to where they are today. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith, who did an amazing job as the moderator. The guest panel, Gary Sheffield, Titus O'Neill, Derek Brooks. And so if you don't know those names, let me share their what their the titles that are attached to them. But they share, but they didn't really, they check their titles at the door, but you need to know who they are. Derek Brooks, former NFL Tampa Bay Buccaneers player, Go Bucks, has his own school here in Tampa Bay. Gary Sheffield, Major League Baseball player. Titus O'Neill, world-class wrestler. So there were some star-studded folks, I'm telling you, that were on the panel. Will Packer, of course, and Stephen A. Smith, that you all may see on ESPN. I believe the show is First Take. And the other sports shows that are on, but Stephen A. Smith, wow, he was very genuine and very authentic around opening up conversations and then asking each panelist to speak on it. It was amazing. One of the takeaways, and look, I'm not going to read this book to y'all. Now, let me tell y'all something. You better go get your own. You're going to have to get your own now. They got what you need, but you're going to have to go on and order it yourself because this one is Carisa's. aka Green Eye Sparkle Baby. But one of the things that he talks about in the sleeve of the book, he says, treat your goals as essential and vital, not just for you, but for everyone around you. When you take your ambitions seriously, others will too. If you don't take your goals and your ambitions seriously, if you just talk off the cuff very lightly, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. And I don't know when I'm gonna get started. I don't know. I got this going on, I got that going on. People are not gonna take you seriously and they'll blow it off like, yeah, she's just talking. She's not gonna do anything, or he's not gonna do anything. But this is mind blowing. And I like what he also says about be arrogant. The highest achieving people have healthy arrogance, confidence not only in themselves and their abilities, but also in their right to be successful. Start believing your goals are predestined to be achieved. Yes, when I tell you it was an awesome evening, it was an awesome evening. I had so many downloads from the conversations. Wednesday night. It was just amazing. And oh, by the way, let me share. My book is autographed. I love it. Yes. So that was a moment in Black history. All of the books that I shared tonight are Black authors. Now let's talk about some things that were trending earlier in the week. As I shared yesterday about the NAACP awards, there were so many amazing recipients to the high accolades of the NAACP awards. I want to start with Kamala Harris received her award. Kamala Harris was decked out in her black pantsuit, and I really liked it. She was dressed from head to toe in black, but it was a sophistication about that pantsuit that gave swagger when she came on the stage. Heartfelt message, that yeah, we can't just sit down and we just got to make sure we stay cognizant, vigilant, and proactive as we are now in a new era in America. Um, the Wayans family received the prestigious NAACP award. The entire Wayans family. It doesn't get better than an entire family was recognized for their achievement. I don't know about you, but I know about me. I watched In Living Color every week when the In Living Color came on. Rosie Perez, when she would have that choreography going, then we got the Fly Girls. So many celebrities today started on In Living Color. Jim Carrey, Fire Marshal Bill, I think was his name. Let me tell you something. Jamie Foxx is Wanda. I mean, I could just go on and on. David Allen Greer. He put so many people on. Keenan, I want to Keenan, guys. I want to make sure I give him his credit too. Keenan Ivory Wayans. What a mastermind! What a genius that he was able to put together comedy skits to the point that they hooked the audience. Everybody would just want to come back for more and more and more. So shout out to the Wayans family. And of course, my girl Keke Palmer. Keke, Entertainer of the Year, had her hands in so many different hats and so many different pockets. But she did it with grace. She did it with elegance, and she just rocked this award season. That's what I'm gonna call it, just award season. She's done so many different things. I really liked her interview on Shannon Sharp. I love the fact that she's been in the game so long that she can speak to the work. She can speak on having that seat. Make your own seat at the table. Make your own seat at the table. She could speak on things that some people try to speak on, but haven't been in the industry long enough to speak on it. or they speak on it based on hearsay of what they think sounds good or what they think people want to hear, but they really don't know. Kiki Palmer has been in the game for a very long time, so I just want to give her a shout out as well. All right. I think those were all my takeaways there. Um, Joy Reid, just a little bit. There was some engaging conversation, and I didn't know this until um, Wednesday, as I was listening to the podcast that was going live with Stephen A. Smith and Will Packer in the panel. Joy Reid had lots and lots of viewers during the election period, during the election season. But once the election was over, her ratings did drop. Now, this is, I'm going to say, now, allegedly, because I didn't look at the stats, these things were shared on the panel. And specifically, it was Stephen A. Smith that was discussing it. So that's why I'm saying allegedly in case if I got something incorrect. But if I recall correctly, she was in the millions. Her ratings were up in the millions. And then they started dropping. A lot of people weren't tuning into her after the election. So it's just something to think about. That's all I'm just saying. She was up here during the election, and then it went down, down, down after the election. So, what are your thoughts? What happened? And I'm going to leave it just like that. Now, for the Learning Corner today, I want to talk about today in the Learning Corner for anybody who makes an impact in a child's life. Today's topic is about real world experiences. I want you to stop and think for a moment. When you were a child, did you leave to go anywhere else beyond your community? Did you leave your house and travel to a different community? Did you leave your house and travel to a different city? Did you leave your home to travel out of state? As a child, did you take a visit with your family to the library? How about the museum? The reason why I'm asking these questions is because the more exposure you have to see things other than your norm, you make connections to these things that you can bring into your learning environment. The more connections that a child has, the increase of knowledge also elevates. A museum, a library. The library is just, man, it is just like a melting pot of wonderful adventures. Don't be afraid of a library. If you've never been to a library, go take a walk in the library. It is full of books. It's just a learning niche. Don't be afraid to take your children to the library, or if you work with a child, let that be a field trip. If it's a daycare or if it's a camp, even going to the museum, it's fascinating. But the reason why I'm sharing having these experiences, and I almost forgot, going to the beach, letting them look at seashells, letting them watch the waves roar up to shore. All of these things have a connection at some point in their learning environment. It could be a science lesson. It could be a math lesson. It could be a social studies lesson. It could be a history lesson. Because reading is across all disciplines, that a child will have an aha moment different from others if they have had the opportunity to make connections within the real world. Did you know that you can make a fraction lesson by baking a pan of brownies? Because when the brownies come out of the oven, it's a hole. But when you cut into a pan of brownies, you're cutting the brownies into what? You're cutting those brownies into parts. Well, guess what topic that is in math? Fractions. Okay? Parts to a whole. So when you least expect or think about, hey, I didn't even know that would make a connection to math. It does. I challenge everyone who has an impact or you work with children, take a moment to allow them to step away from their norm, their small community, and let them broaden their horizons. Even a drive in the car, like I said, going from one county to the next, looking at the buildings, looking at the signs, something where they can make connections. Now, that's all I have now on my learning corner today. I hope there were some great takeaways, but I had to come back on today on the Green Eye Sparkle Baby to show because I forgot to did I hit the yes I did. I was about to say I forgot to say hit the enter on welcome sparklers, but yes I did. But listen, I know everybody is winding down or you're getting dressed to step out on your fantastic Friday. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This still counts as episode 5, but it was the remix. Get into it. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys back next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Green Eye Sparkle, baby, the show. Have a great day and be great, my sparklers. Bye.